bring another road issue to the board. Pond Road continues to deteriorate at a rapid rate, maybe not as rapidly as Coleman Road is currently deteriorating. I would like to thank the manager and the director of transportation that when we call, they send people out. They'll patch the holes. When the potholes get fixed, they last exactly until the next rain. The average pothole is over a foot deep. People drive down the road like it's a slalom ski course to avoid the craters. You have to, defensive driving doesn't cut it because you have to plan so far ahead to know where I'm going to expect to see a car on the wrong side of the road. There are, the primary bad stretch of road is between Maple Lane and Georgetown Road. I fully understand that the deterioration has been greatly increased or exacerbated by the fact that Valley Brook Road's closed. And that shortcut has gotten used significantly more. But literally, you send, presumably, a crew out with all the equipment and all the material to regrade and repatch all these holes for that stretch. It's a 1.5 mile stretch of road. And it's only flat until it rains. One rainstorm and all those big potholes are back to being a foot or more deep. There are places of that road where there is not an ability to go 5 miles an hour. The road has cost me personally 2 tires in the last year. I've been in front of the board 3 times in the 9 years that I've lived in that house to complain about this road. A number of different, to call it a Band-Aid fix is being generous. And I understand this is not a simple issue, nor is it a cheap issue. But patching it with road millings is not working. Patching it with well-graded choked gravel is not working. And with the increase in traffic that cuts between Peters Township and Route 19 and Georgetown Road and Organza Road, presumably going to the highway, it has gotten to the point where it's significantly unsafe.
Bill, have we been addressing going out there and trying to do some more of this patching because of the problems out there?
During the winter, we've just been trying to maintain it in a somewhat safe, passable condition. But he's correct. Every time it rains, and especially with the freeze-thaw cycles that were going on, it would come apart again. We've been maintaining it diligently, but there's only so much you can do with what you have out there.
And I'd like to say something if I could. This has been my big issue since I was elected supervisor to improve our roads. We have now a budget of $1 million for the last 2 years, which does not begin to touch the critical problems that exist, one of which is on the road that you live on. There are others that are just as bad, maybe worse, and one of those is Coleman Road, where it's a danger, an absolute danger. People's lives are in danger when they travel on the roads. I would like to see more money put toward our roads. Maybe you can do a better job than I am. I have our board up to $1 million. If we, and I think that our Public Works Director said it very well a couple of meetings ago. If we put $2 million a year, we wouldn't be caught up. We won't catch up. We won't. Our roads have deteriorated so badly. I have to say this, our Public Works is doing a wonderful job, especially keeping up with what's happened this winter. And it was a horrendous winter. But the roads are bad. We're doing what we can and trying to do it properly as we go along.
And how much have we paved with our own paving crew last year, Bill? I mean, there's roads like this, like Horn Road and King Road, that we could do with our own paving, correct?
Yeah, there's, Hahn Road is a multifaceted problem out there. The first thing that has to be addressed is the drainage issues out there. There are a lot of areas that are just absolutely saturated with water that's coming off the hillside. You have to redirect that water. That water's trapped up inside the road bed, and of course, when you go through the freeze fall cycles, it starts to come apart. The first thing we have to do before we do anything out there is to address the extensive drainage and under drain that must be placed into that road. We have to get that done first before we do any more work out there. So we're planning to go out and do the work in phases as we are able to get it scheduled and get some under drain and some combination pipe put in that road and get the water redirected away from the road and back into the stream. So. Okay, then beyond that, you have a very long road, which is about 3 miles long. It's a big ticket item. It's a huge amount of money to reconstruct the road the way, to a passable condition to the current standards of the borough.
Do you have a budget for that?
Pardon me?
Do you have a budget for that?
For that road, I don't have a budget for that yet.
Yes.
Okay,
How much? If I had to guess? I would say, in my estimation, based on, you're looking probably $2 million to reconstruct that road, put drainage on it and bring it up to standard with guide rail where it needs to be placed. Soil stabilization.
And you think we can do 3 miles for $2 million?
No, I would have to sit down and run a couple different scenarios together. I'd have to do an engineering estimate, really, before I would confidently say that I was in a ballpark with $2 million. It could easily cost you $1 million a mile to reconstruct that road.
okay, so you can address everything as best you can out there right now, then you can get the drainage.
I'm going to try to hold it. I'm going to try to hold it in there as best I can. We've got to get some drainage, and we're going to go out there and we just started talking about what roads we wanted to hit first. The asphalt plant's open today, so we now have we have a lot of work to do.
Is there any other questions that we have? Because
I didn't give you an answer.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And I
And
understand that it's a
you know
very
what I'm-
complicated process. One of the things that I had a real concern with a couple of years ago when I came and said essentially the same thing is, what I wanted to know is, how much money do you spend on that road annually? Because, and now this might be 3 years ago, and I can't expect him to know that he wasn't here. But you can quantify. Now, I can't tell you how to do it. I don't know how you run the business of running a township or a road crew. But you should know how many tons of material, how many man hours you spend on that road. And if me or my neighbors or whomever is calling every time there's a rainfall, and I've been saying for the last 3 days in a row I'm going to call, but I get to work at 6 in the morning and nobody's here, and I leave work after you guys have left and don't get a chance to call. But with the rain we're supposed to get, you'll be getting another call again. And so if you send somebody out there, if you're putting down fresh material, there's a cost to that. Even if you're not, you're just regrading and re-rolling it in, there's a cost to that. How many hours, how many dollars are you spending a year? Because it's not nothing. And that was the answer I got last time. And it's bothered me for years now, because there is a cost to it. And if you come out once a month or twice a month through the spring, or more frequently since Valley Brook Road's been canceled, there's still a cost to that. And if this year you end up spending $150,000 to do this piddling little maintenance that doesn't last through the next rain event, you're throwing that money away. One of the things, and because I live there, it's ridiculous for me to say, you want to know how to make that road last? Stop maintaining it in the wintertime. You regrade it, and the first time your plow driver goes down that road, the plow chatter tears it up, and it's gone. Now, you could fix that by forcing your plow drivers to go slower, which will only happen if you sit in the cab and babysit them, or tell them not to plow the road.
Let me just speak to that plow matter real quick. That truck that we have maintaining that road has a hydraulic control valve inside the cab. Mr. Pash, who runs that truck, he has the ability to lift that blade up off of the road, so the full 2,500 or 3,000 pounds of the blade is not on that road. We've been picking that blade up, so it just barely touches. But that's no constant, you know, it's.
And the plowing is not the real issue, it's the drop in the salt, because you get the differential freeze thaw that makes the pumping and the breaking up of what little asphalt and hard pack there is, and it differentiates it and tears it up and propagates the crater problem. But if you look at the amount of regular maintenance just to make the road safe and everything else, I think as a board, there is a quantifiable number that is being wasted on that road annually.
And many, many, many roads.
And I'm not alluding to the fact that if you did nothing, they would continue to deteriorate, but you're already spending something. And I realize there are so many roads that need attention, some of which are, as Coleman's example, is worse than Hahn, but you can't just keep ignoring all of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.